And welcome back here for our third conversation in keeping with our discussions with the mayoral hopefuls for Belize City is none other than Estevan Perera Sr. He is the leader of the People's Democratic Movement. Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Perera.
Thanks for having me here.
It's our pleasure. Let's begin by talking about the PDM. It's fairly new on the political front. You've had a lot of work and a lot of ground to cover in what I would describe as short order, right? What has that been like in terms of being able to canvass Belize City, share your objectives with the voters, and of course hearing from them what their concerns and needs are?
To be honest, it has been very difficult to cover Belize on a whole, to meet everybody. It wasn't an easy job. And that is why I turned to the media, because I thought to win an election, the people has to know you. They have to find out what you are or what you stand for. And we were campaigning on foot, going around from house to house, but then that thing is a tiring job. That thing is tiring, and for me, it's tiring.
Yeah.
I'm not young anymore. That's getting tiring.
Yeah.
So I said to my committee, I said, man, we got to do something else. Otherwise, we're never going to reach not even 20% of these people. This is not George Price Day. This is a different, the bigger cities, more people involved. So I said, we got to get the media. And that's when we start going for 5 and 7 and Love FM. I had forgotten about Creme. I didn't even know, I didn't remember Creme, really, to be honest, in mine.
Yeah.
And after we start airing things, we start getting results. Because before, people were saying, we haven't heard about you all. What are you all doing? I said, boy, we're a new movement. We're trying our best, but it's not as easy as you think. First of all, it was difficult to get 10 candidates to represent the movement. That wasn't an easy one. That was tough. But luckily we did. God was with me and we did it.
What has been the response from the people as it relates to learning about this new movement, this third party?
After they got to learn about the new movement and we spoke to them, telling them what we stand for, because they want to know, why are you running? Aren't you satisfied, red and blue? I said, well, that's just the point. That's why we're running. Okay, we're not satisfied with those people. They keep promising and promising and never get nothing done. I mean, can you imagine, the mayor for the PUP walking the streets, checking drains, working out there in the sun? Do you imagine that? No, man. And even the mayor for the UDP is a young lady, very good, pretty, but I don't think they were made for that job. You need a man who's going to get out there and work. I'm not afraid of the sun. Get out there and see that these people is doing the right things. Get the job done. If you don't get out there, you'll never get nothing done.
So you think the difference between what your leadership would bring as opposed to the other individuals is that you would physically be out there monitoring the work taking place in the city?
Yes. We'll have a fellow in charge of the works department, but that doesn't mean I'm going to leave it up to him. I got to go out there and see what they're doing, how much lumber they're buying, where the lumber is coming back, cement, sand and gravel, whatever the case may be. You've got to take a part in that development if you want to do things. For example, I'm looking at, I heard them, they're saying things, but when last did you see the PUP build a drain? Or when the UDP was in power, when last did they build a drain? Much less clean the drains them. They've never done that. In Kings Park, the people have been telling me the grass is growing, the grass is getting higher and higher. Nobody comes around to clean drains. So what are we running for in the City Council?
Mr. Estevan, let's take things back a little bit and get an idea of who you are as a person. We know that the PDM is new to the political scene, but we also want to know who you are as the face, as the mayor hopeful, as Isani mentioned. Who are you?
I believe that the people in Belize should know what I am, who I am, and what I stand for. Coming to the last one, what I stand for is I want to stop corruption and also the wasteful spending of taxpayers' money. Secondly, I am a man, a businessman. I grew up poor, but I was lucky to make some money working for Santiago Castillo Limited, where I learned all my things. That was a good company, and I must say thanks to Mr. Santiago Castillo for teaching me so much. But when you start working and you make money, you have to learn that you have to give back to your community. When I graduated and I started working, I went back to my school, St. Joseph School, and I coached the kids them there. And the first time I coached them, 'cause it was 2 years I coached them. The first time we got second place. The second year we got first place. Then after that, I went back and I opened a business. And every Christmas, I used to give away toys to the children. This is before I even think about getting into politics. So I am what I am. I am here to move this community forward. Even when I was a businessman, I looked at business and I said, poor people have to live better, but they don't have the money. So then I was the agent for Halib Foods in Northern Ireland that sells powder milk. And at that time, milk was selling for $3.89 in a tin. Klim, it was Klim. I think Brody's is the agent for Klim. And I said, man, that's high. I wonder if I could get something cheaper. And I got in touch with Halib Food and I brought in milk in the powder form to sell by the pound for $1.10. And that's where I made a killing. I really made a lot of money then because it was cheap and people were buying it because they could afford it. And that's where I started. So I am here for my people. I am not here to make things like the UDP and the PUP. They're not here for people. They are not here for the forgotten ones. Those are the people I'm fighting for.
Let me ask you a question here, Mr. Perera. It has to do with the viability of the third-party option, because culturally and historically, our votes go two ways for the most part, red or blue. We haven't yet gotten to a point where we're looking at a third party or an independent candidate or movement as something that is worth our while and worth our vote. Where do you stand on that in terms of either enlightening the people or making a difference for it to be viable?
That's a simple one. I mean, look, let me explain something to you. Our country, Belize, is already, like you said, used to red and blue. True, that's true. But have you ever seen, well, I don't want to call it party because you'll make me move from my movement. I am here for the movement. But have you ever seen a movement or a party having a mayoral candidate and 10 councillors in this country? Never yet have you seen that. This is the first time you're having a full slate. And I believe that this full slate is going to make a big difference. Because now we know what we're fighting for. If you notice, we as a movement are the first ones to come out. It's true we didn't have a manifesto like they have to give out. We only have it on print. Because I'm not here to throw away money. I'm here to save money. And the first time I came on the television, I brought out some of my things that I want to do in the manifesto. One, we want to put back the street between Brody's and the park that they took away from the people. Second, we want to give elderly people that is 65 years and older a 50% discount. If you notice the PUP mayoral candidate, when they first got in power, they took away 25% from the elderly people. And then I don't know what happened or transpired later on, but they came back and they gave it back to 25%. Now in this election, you notice what they did. They raised it by 10%. They're giving you 35 now. But if I didn't bring that out, they would have never raised nothing. They are followers. They are not leaders. And then we also have, what else did I put in? I said that all entrepreneurs that just starting a business, people that sells tacos, people that sell panadas, garnachas, we will charge them no taxes. It's a sin to charge these poor people who are trying to make a living and you're hammering them down. Then,
because you could go for a bigger tax base other than going for the little person.
Right. I don't want to get into that one because it's a secret for me there. But also we have, for example, you threw me off just now. I was just going to bring it. And I got it.
My apologies, sir.
What was it? 50%, the elderly people, the poor.
The
anyway,
street.
Yeah.
I want to just for the sake of using the time that we have, I want to talk to you a bit about the financing for your campaign, because as you mentioned, you are fully independent. And I would only assume that the financing is coming from your very own pockets. So let's talk a bit about that. You're the leader of this movement, as you mentioned. Let's talk about how you've been able to generate resources to finance this campaign, this movement.
It's a hard one because I promised that I would never go out and seek out the business people to ask them for help. Because in my views, I believe those people in the business sector, they're fighting hard to survive. So why should I go and beg them? I don't think it is right. So I started doing this movement, walking the streets and getting people to motivate them, to try and convince them to follow me, which I did. They came aboard. And I had to pay for everything, even the $50 that we had to get in Belmopan for them to sign up. And I paying for all my commercials and things. And when we have meetings, we try to have a little barbecue later on to eat. But that's coming from my finance. And because I have houses that I rent, and I collect rental fees, and that is the money I'm using to do this. But I am watching it too. I'm not overspending. I know what I am doing because there are certain things I will not do. For example, I will not put up banners, not because I don't want to, but you know, if I put up banners, the city council want to charge me money to put up each banners. I don't need, they're paying, but they want to charge me. And then, if you look at them also, all those banners and all those flags, they didn't make them in Belize, you know. They got them made in Chetumal. That's how much they love the Belizean people. There's people here that can do those things. Why would they go all the way to Chetumal and do it? You have to keep money here in your country. But, you know, they only talk, but they don't do what they say, you know.
I want to talk about your slate as well. You mentioned that this is the first time that we've seen a third party have a full slate.
Full slate, right.
Did you handpick these individuals, Mr. Perera?
No, I didn't handpick. They're all from different parts of Belize. And when I was walking the streets and talking to people, they shouted to me, Perera, I want to see you, I want to see you. Then I stopped and I talked to them. And I said, yes, what can I do for you? I said, man, I want to run. I want to get involved. I said, well, then let's get on board. It's easy. And I got all of those people the same way, just talking and you know, and they believed it. They believe. If you see my candidates now, they believe that we're going to win this election more than me. You know.
So tell me about the makeup of the team, the body. Who are the individuals that you have?
No, I got to try to remember all of them now. I got Alicia, who is a nice, pretty young lady. I mean, and she's well educated. She works with the tourism industry. I have Mr. Freeman Gongara, who is a teacher, very well educated, smart fellow, you know. Then I have
Zenobia,
Young, who's a nice young lady too in the industry of the tourism also. Then I have
Wayne Joseph,
who works again with the tourism industry and very, very nice. He rent out tables, he rent out chairs, but he's very good. Then I also have Mr.
Day.
That's what I'm trying. Mr. Day, who's an educated guy. Mr. Day is well elderly and he's smart. Do you know that he was working with the UDP and PUP before, you know? He was responsible for this VAT and also this, the one that you get your money afterwards.
GST?
Not GST. Yeah, GST, he brought in the GST too. But the one when you're 65 years and older, you get your gratuity,
your pension?
Pension, yeah, from, what do you call it, the people, when the government uses the money for other things that they shouldn't be using.
Social Security.
Social Security. He's the one who introduced that here in Belize City, you know.
Yeah.
That guy is brilliant. But he decided to leave the European people because they don't listen to him. So, and he wants no part of them. So that's how I ended up with him. And then we have, who else we got there?
Mark Burgess,
who was a custom officer,
very
well educated. He remembers them more, he got good grades.
Well, I mean, I do know that he would be familiar because, as you know, Mr. Perera, we've been providing coverage of all the parties and the lead up to the municipal election. But because we are a bit short for time, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the people of Belize City. There's your camera, and let them know why they should vote for you and your team, all of them that you mentioned, tomorrow.
Well, it's a simple thing. We are here. The People's Democratic Movement is here to stop corruption, definitely. And like I said before, and I'll repeat myself again, to stop the wasteful spending of taxpayers' money. We are here for progress. Progress, not for self-gain. Because that's what I look at. In fact, that's the reason why I got into this movement and to get councillors with myself to run against the blue and the red. Because I believe all they do is take what does not belong to them. They have been taking things from the people. Like I said to you, they took the street, they just did what they want. Then they're out on the streets right now, killing the people with these tickets. As you park, ticket. As you park, ticket. I want to say to my people today, if you vote People's Democratic Movement, I can guarantee you, everybody who has gotten a ticket in February, we will take it out. You don't have to pay nothing. Because Belize City is small. We barely have parking places. And now they're putting up meters, no parking signs. All those things will be taken down. Belize will be for Belizeans. And we will have a free city. We will be able to work freely. We won't be afraid to park here or park there, thinking that we're going to get a ticket. There's so many businesses downtown right now telling me that they're losing business because their customers are afraid to park because they're getting tickets after tickets. So these are the things I want to stop. I want to make Belizeans feel happy to live in a country that belongs to them. And the major thing why I am in this with the PDM is mainly because PUP and UDP have sold out passports by the thousands. And because of that, now we are having a problem with our businesses closing down. You've seen it, you heard it on TV. All those businesses, Hofest going down, Carl Benz's, Augusto Kwan. I've been saying this from 2 years now, you know, that's going to happen. And I'm telling you, Santiago Castillo, Savio, Brody's, they're going to close down too. Because the expense that you have every week paying your workers is nothing to play with. I mean, I am not prejudiced. I don't hate nobody. I love them. But Chinese people are hard-working people. But they're the worst people to get in a country because they're going to take over everything in this country. And that is where we don't have jobs for the Belizeans because now they will use their own people.
Yeah.
So things like this, somebody has to step up.
All right. Well, Mr. Estevan Perera Sr., representing the People's Democratic Movement. All the best to you and your team tomorrow, Mr. Estevan, and good luck.
Count on it. We're going to beat them 2-1. You count on it.
All right.
Belizeans are going to come out and vote this time. I'm telling you they're going to come.
All right. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we have one more segment for you. After the break, we'll be sitting down and talking about the Seaweed Mariculture Symposium. Stay with us. We'll be right back.